They say a man without a future has no dignity. I was made to have neither. My name is Ram, and this is the story of how a broken man tried to become human again. I was born in a small village near Istaker, where the mountains cut the sky like broken blades. My mother smelled of saffron and warm bread. My father taught me to read the stars and told me that every man had a destiny written in them. I believed him. Until the day the soldiers came. They arrived at dawn, their armor shining like cold fire. They took the boys with soft faces, boys like me. They said we would serve the Shahanshah. They said it was an honor. But honor is not what I remember. I remember the screams, the ropes, the cold stone, the knife when I woke up, bleeding and shaking. I understood I would never be a man, not in the eyes of the world, not in the eyes of the gods, not even in my own. That day, my destiny was rewritten by someone else's hand. They took us to the palace of Xiphon, a place so vast it felt like the world had walls. We were trained to walk silently, to speak only when spoken to obey without question. We learned how to read faces, how to carry messages without emotion, how to disappear in a room full of people, how to be useful, how to be invisible. They told us we were lucky. We would live close to the king. We would see the heart of the empire. But what is the heart of an empire worth when you no longer have one of your own? Years passed. I became a servant of the inner court, the place where secrets breathe and walls listen. I walked through marble halls where the air smelled of incense and fear. I carried messages between queens who smiled in public and poisoned each other in private. I watched generals kneel before the king, then plot behind his back. I saw love, betrayal, cruelty, and ambition. I was trusted, but never respected. I was close to power, but powerless. People looked at me and saw a tool, a shadow, a thing. But inside me, a voice whispered, "You are still human." I tried to silence it, but it refused to die. One night, while delivering scrolls to the queen's chamber, I heard muffled sobs behind a tapestry. I pulled it aside and found a young servant girl, trembling like a wounded bird. Her name was Shirin. She had angered a nobleman, a cruel man, drunk on his own authority. He wanted her punished, severely. She begged me to help her, to hide her, to save her. But helping her meant defying a noble, and defying a noble meant death. I hesitated. All my life, I had survived by obeying, by staying invisible, by being nothing. But she looked at me with the same fear I once had, the fear of someone who has no power, no voice, no future. And in that moment, I understood, if I did nothing, I would remain broken forever. So I hid her. I lied to the nobleman. I risked everything. For the first time in my life, I chose. The nobleman suspected me. He had me dragged into the courtyard, beaten, kicked, spat on. He called me a half-man, a mistake, a creature. But I did not break, because the girl escaped. She lived. And as I lay there, bleeding under the moonlight, I felt something I had not felt since childhood, dignity. Not because I was strong, not because I was powerful, but because I had done something human, something brave, something mine. I am Ram, a eunuch of the Sassanid court, a man the world tried to break. But dignity is not given by kings. It is not taken by knives. It is not measured by the body. Dignity is a choice, and for the first time in my life, I chose to be a man. If anything of my story stays with you, let it be this. A man is not the sum of what was taken from him. He is the sum of the moments he chooses to stand, even when the world tells him he cannot. They broke my body. They stole my future. They carved silence into my life, but they could not extinguish the small spark inside me that still believed in dignity. If you hear my voice now, then I was not invisible. I lived. I mattered. And for one brief moment, I rose above what they made me. Remember me not as a shadow in a palace, but as a man who tried, with the little he had left, to be human.
I knew men like Ram, the men the world tried to erase quietly, efficiently, without leaving a trace. History remembers kings, generals, and conquerors, but it forgets the broken ones, the ones who carried the weight of empires on their backs, yet never had a name written in stone. I am old now, my hands shake, my voice fades, but I remember him not for his suffering, but for the small, stubborn spark he kept alive inside his chest.